PC24 ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਸਟ ਪੌਲ ਚੀਮਾ। ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਫੈਮਲੀਜ਼ ਇਹ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਕੁਇਟੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ। ਉਹਦੇ ਦੋ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਵੱਧਦੇ ਰੇਟ ਤੇ ਡਿੱਗਦੇ ਮਕਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ। ਅਸੀਂ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੇ। ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਡੇਟਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਓਵਰਆਲ ਬੈਂਕ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਪੋਲਿਸੀ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਈਲਾਈਟ ਕਰਨਗੀਆਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੁਝ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਪਰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੋਸਤਾਂ, ਮਿੱਤਰਾਂ, ਵੱਡਿਆਂ, ਛੋਟਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ PC24 ਤੇ ਪੌਲ ਚੀਮਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਆ, ਸਪਾਂਸਰਸ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਹੋਵੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਮਨਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਲਗਿਰਾ, ਕਈਆਂ ਲਈ ਚਟਪਟੀ ਸਾਲਗਿਰਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਈਆਂ ਲਈ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਾਲਗਿਰਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਵ ਜਨਮੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਿਲਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੂੰਜ ਉੱਠੀਆਂ, ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਕਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਹੋ, ਕਲੋਜ਼ਿੰਗ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਕਾਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਦਿੰਦੇ। ਹਰ ਬੁੱਧਵਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਉਚੇਚੇ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਦੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਤੋਂ ਜੁੜਦੇ। ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੁਰਾ। ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਚੁੱਕਿਆ ਜੀ। ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੁਸਕਰਾਉਂਦੀ ਸ਼ਕਲ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਇਜ਼ ਰਾਈਟ ਹੇਅਰ ਵਿਦ ਮੀ ਰਾਈਟ ਨਾਓ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਦੀ ਜਾਂ BC ਦੀ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਬਾਰੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਜ਼ੀਟੇਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ। ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਪੁੱਛ ਲੈਣਾ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਇਲਾਜ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੀ ਦਵਾਈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੇਣਗੇ, ਬੜੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਦਵਾਈ ਦੇਣਗੇ। ਤੋ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਪਰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਕੋਟ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕੋਟ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ। ਕੋਈ ਲੇਡੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਜੀ, ਮੈਡਲੀਨ ਲਾਇੰਗਲ ਔਰ ਲੈਂਜਲ, ਨਵੰਬਰ 29, 1918 ਨੂੰ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸਤੰਬਰ 6, 2007 ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚੋਂ ਵਿਦਾ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਕੋਈ 88 ਈਅਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰੀ। ਨਿਊਯਾਰਕ ਸਿਟੀ 'ਚ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਲਿਚਫੀਲਡ ਕਨੈਕਟੀਕਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਕੋਲ ਲੈ ਗਏ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾਤਰ ਰਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਸੀਗਾ। ਫਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਰਾਈਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਨੌਨ ਫਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਰਾਈਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਪੋਇਟਰੀ, ਯੰਗ ਅਡਲਟ ਫਿਕਸ਼ਨ। ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੁੱਕ ਵੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਸੀ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਸੀ ਅ ਰਿੰਕਲ ਇਨ ਟਾਈਮ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸੀਕੁਅਲਸ ਵੀ ਬਣੇ ਸੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਦੇ, ਅ ਵਿੰਡ ਇਨ ਦ ਡੋਰ, ਅ ਸਵਿਫਟੀ ਟਿਲਟਿੰਗ ਪਲੈਨਟ, ਮੈਨੀ ਵਾਟਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਐਨ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੇਬਲ ਟਾਈਮ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਚੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫੇਥ ਸੀਗਾ, ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੜਾ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹਾਈਲਾਈਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਵਾਰਡਸ ਨਾਲ ਸਨਮਾਨਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਜੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਵਾਰਡ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਬੀਇੰਗ ਨੇਮਡ ਐਜ਼ ਐਨ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਟ ਡੇਮ ਆਫ ਜਸਟਿਸ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਵੈਨਰੇਬਲ ਆਰਡਰ ਆਫ ਸੇਂਟ ਜੌਨ 1972 ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਿਆ। USM ਮੈਡੇਲੀਅਨ ਫਰੋਮ ਦਾ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਸਾਊਦਰਨ ਮਿਸਿਸਿਪੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ 1978 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। The Smith College Medal for Service to Community or College which exemplifies the purpose of liberal arts education 1981. The Sophia Award for Distinction in her field 1984. The Regina Medal 1985. The Alan ALAN Award for Outstanding Contribution to Adolescent Literature presented by the National Council of Teachers of English in 1987. ਐਂਡ ਦ ਕਰਲ ਅਵਾਰਡ 1991। ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਲੰਬੀ ਚੌੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ ਮੁੱਕਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੀ, ਪਰ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੇ ਹੀ ਲਰਨਡ ਬੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਇਹ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੇ ਕਲੋਜ਼ਲੀ ਦੇਖਿਆ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੋਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਈ ਆ ਉਹ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਆਹ ਵਾਲੀ। ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਅ ਗੁੱਡ ਲਾਫ ਹੀਲਸ ਅ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਹਰਟਸ। ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ 'ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤਬਸਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਲ ਫੈਕਟ ਆ। ਹੱਸਦਾ ਚਿਹਰਾ ਕਈ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਕਈ ਜ਼ਖਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ। ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਡਲਿਨ ਲੈਂਜਲ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੈਸੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਏਡੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੁਕੀ ਹੋਈ। ਸੋ ਦੁਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰਹੋਗੇ, ਆਪਣੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਲਓਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਦੂਸਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰੱਖੋਗੇ। ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਓ ਆ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਅੱਜ ਚੰਗਾ ਕੀਤਾ। ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਸਾਡੇ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ PC24 RTV 'ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਏਗੀ। ਇਹ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਸਿਰਫ YouTube 'ਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਜੀ, ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਚੈਨਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਲੌਕ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ YouTube 'ਤੇ ਹੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮਿਲਣਾ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁੜੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰੋ, ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਗੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਰੀਨਿਊ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਚੈਲੰਜਸ ਪੇਸ਼ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ। ਮੈਂ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ $1.5 ਲੱਖ ਮਕਾਨ 'ਚ ਪਾਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿੱਧਰ ਚਲਾ ਗਿਆ। ਪਰ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਵੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ, ਬੜੇ ਈਗਰ ਨੇ ਟੂ ਸਪੀਕ ਵਿਦ ਯੂ ਆਲ। ਸੋ ਹੇਅਰ ਕਮਜ਼ ਆਵਰ ਗੈਸਟ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੂਰਾ। ਮਿਸਟਰ ਸੂਰਾ, welcome to the show, sir. Good morning, sir ji.
Thank you so much for having this program again. You know, it's a refreshing start to the day for most people to learn and lean on some advice from yourself. It's encouraging in ways. Obviously, we're looking at statistics, trying to analyze each and everything to see what best route everyone can take. At the end of the day, nobody has a crystal ball, but things are still ongoing. There's plenty of activity. So again, I can't wait to continue the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Amrit. I really thank you for coming over here. It takes a lot to commit on a weekly basis. Look at me on a daily basis, trying to juggle around my time. And the good news is we got an offer on the property. We relisted. It's a good
great
offer.
Well, that's fantastic for your clients. A lot of stress that you undertook. We kind of absorb a lot of the stress that
we do.
The clients have. Good to hear that you were able to keep that together.
Yeah, but see how many people know what we are doing back of the scene. We are like director, producer, script writer. We do all those things and make sure people get what they deserve. I had a long discussion this morning with the sellers. We went through the numbers, we went through clauses. I spoke with the other agent and told her we cannot have conditions in the offer, and she agreed. So price is agreeable. Now conditions have been sent to them after deleting. If they accept it, today will it show the sold sign on the property. Done. Closing in a few days.
Fantastic.
And these guys are coming from your area, BC.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean,
just like BC people come to Ontario, well, Ontario people keep going to BC. And here is the guy, Mr. Amrit Sura, 778-999-1531. Oh, I can just say that anytime. Even in my sleep, this number has got into my head.
That's a good, easy number to remember, right?
Well, it becomes easy when you say that every day and you commit, yes, need to make sure that this goes through, right? So RBC has given a report. They have come up with a proof point, and it says the recession to arrive earlier than expected. Yesterday, I was sitting with a family. We got them a house last year in January. It was high market. They paid $765,000 for the property. They have some issues, so they had to go to some private lender for the mortgage. I told them I cannot do your mortgage. You have to make arrangement. So they made arrangement. They got private mortgage for 1 year. And luckily they got a very good rate. And the mortgage was 90% of the house value. So that means it was close to $700,000. So they took the mortgage. It was January 31st. So right after they purchased houses, similar houses went up to $840,000 in sale in February. So they were happy that they made a good deal. Come this month, October, I looked up at the house values yesterday with them. Guess what? The houses are selling between $630,000 and $650,000. So $765,000 minus $630,000. Where did $135,000 go? Just vanished. So they lost all the equity due to drop in home prices. So I was sitting with them and I said, you and your lender both are in catch-22 situation. So you cannot pay the lender, and lender cannot recover the payment, even if he puts your house on power of sale, because it won't sell for the money you owe him. So what he will do, like, will he kick you out if you don't pay him back, or he will have to renew automatically because he has to wait to recover his money? There is a risk associated with the private lending, and this is one of that. They were looking at me and they said, Paul, how much money do you have to come up with? I said, $240,000. The worried look on their face made me very sad. And they are not the only people. There are thousands and thousands of such people who took private lending in high market when they couldn't qualify for higher mortgage, and they took private funds as a second mortgage. So they are getting into this kind of situation right now. And I don't know how much data government has on those kind of mortgages, because some are just individual private lender. Like Amrit has $1 million sitting and he is giving out mortgages to people. So is that tracked? I don't know that, but this was a very sad night yesterday when he came back home. And I said, talk to your lender and see if he continues. This is what they're going to do. Reality of life.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have some kind of right?
Look,
I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about a negative equity.
Yes. It's
But
a
in
negative
reality,
equity right now.
yeah, I mean, the value of the I mean, if he renews, he would really require to be able to help them break, like even if it's breaking even. I mean,
Yeah. It won't even break even because he owes more than he can have. So their gross income is more than 150, 160 grand. But where to go to? The situation is very tough because any property that is selling in market for 650, if you appraise that property, appraisers will come down maybe 600,000 or less than $600,000. So now you owe $700,000, but next lender is only willing to pay you $480,000.
mhm.
So in order to remove the first lender, you have to pay back. So you have to come up with 700,000 minus $480,000. It is close to $220,000. I'm doing mental math. I'm very smart. Say
Wow,
I'm
that
smart.
is,
That will make me happy. Plus,
yeah,
when you pay off private mortgages, there are costs associated with that. Discharge fee, any previous penalty, or and their lawyers' fees. So that adds up another $5,000 to $15,000. That means they need to be ready with at least $230,000 to $240,000 cash, which they don't have. This is scenario one. And scenario two, another lady, and I kept telling her not to borrow funds, but she would need to have money sometimes to pay for down payment for her son, sometime to take care of her ailing pet. For the last 2 years, I stopped her. Don't take money, but she didn't stop. Now, her house is 130 grand less than what it was last year, and she owes more money than she has. She won't be able to pay off second lender. We are in a fix. So now in the first case, the loan is more than 100% on the appraised value.
mm-hmm.
And I can feel for these people. It's a very dangerous situation. So the lenders will have to come up with the easy plan to help these people. Otherwise, it will be a loss situation for both the parties. Do you think of any solution, Amrit?
Well, the fix, it almost seems like the Bank of Canada has a lever, and it's inflicting some pain on consumers.
Collateral damage.
The damage that they're creating is going to be, felt for maybe for those kind of people. I mean, they might feel it for 5-10 years. It's
for a long time. So you're looking
phenomenal.
at 2024 last quarter or second quarter 2025. This is kind of rough approximation. On 19th of this month, that is 7 days from now, we will find out where the inflation went. My wild guess is it will be somewhere between 6.3 or 6.2. Core inflation is still high.
Mm-hmm.
So core inflation removes all the items that are very fluctuating or very volatile, such as mortgage interest rates, what next? Gas prices, energy prices, those are excluded from that basket.
Right.
And secondly, inflation is always, what do you say, 0.5% higher than what it is announced, because there are errors in calculating the basket. So people were buying apples last year, so the government took apple as a part of their basket to determine the rate of inflation. But this year, apples were still expensive, but people moved to eat pears. They substituted with the pears. So people are not eating apples, but government is still analyzing the basket using apples. Today's price of apples, last year's price of apples, but they don't realize that people don't eat apples anymore. So this creates an error in calculation. So it is estimated to be about 5%, 0.5%. So if they say 7, it could be 7.5. If there's 6, it could be 6.5. So just there is a margin of error.
Right.
So inflation will not be easy to handle. It's a bull that has gone out of control. You have to hold it by horns.
So the spending must be minimized as much as possible at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But what happens in instances where the borrowers can't make their commitment
To pay, or more their monthly payments, or their outstanding mortgage?
Their monthly payments.
Yeah, they will be facing more interest. They will be defaulted. Next mortgage may be difficult for them to get. Renewal may be tricky, because banks look at your past records, how you have been paying. If your payments are irregular or erratic or delayed, unless you inform them in advance, then I think they do help you out. Tell them that, hey, I cannot pay next 2 months' payments. They will try to help you out. But if you just start delaying payments or not paying them on time, things can be worse. So it's better to call your institution and tell them, I lost my job, or I am sick, I am not going to work, I don't have money to pay. Can it defer my next 3 payments? They will just delay them. I think they can do it for you. No harm in asking.
Yeah, certainly the people that give you the opportunities to make those, give you the commitment letters at that point. There must be some kind of recourse coming down the line. I mean, yes, it's uncontrollable by the consumer standpoint on what the Bank of Canada does. But how did we, in the first instance, how did they get there?
Like get to a situation where they cannot make the payments?
No, the 8.1% inflation.
That's right. So exact same thing my client said yesterday. So he asked me a simple question. Paul, what is the inflation the government is looking at? It should be the benchmark. So I said between 2 and 3%. And he said, when it went away from 3%, why they not take any action at that point? So don't you think the institutions are also guilty of not acting in time and putting people to such a situation? So when it went to 4% or 5%, Had they taken the measure at that time, it could have been way easier to tackle with less pain. But they let it go up to 8.1, 8.3%, which was humongous, like 4 times than 2%. This is where it went. Why didn't they not acted before? What happened? So
were they sleeping?
I thought the war in Ukraine, I think that precipitated this in a very bigger way, that amplified inflation. I will try to look up what inflation was before February when Russia attacked Ukraine and what it went after that. I think I need to do some kind of analysis of that number.
So yeah, there's a chart that is available. I mean, in January it was 5.1, and this is not the core inflation rate that you had just mentioned, but it was significant changes, right? I mean, at the end of the day, June was 8.1.
June 8.1, but
August 7.
Check out what it was in February and March.
Okay, stand by there.
I am.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
yeah, go ahead.
As far as these bodies that control the tap, they can sit in their ivory towers, and then the people that are suffering are the the layman. So January was 5.1, February was 5.7. And then March was 6.7. April was 6.8.
Okay.
May was 7.7.
Basically,
and then
after
June,
February, it went out of control in a very big way.
Yes.
So thanks to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Right? He is the guy.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's in control. The what happens in within the confines of your own country should be handled by the leaders here. Not nothing to do with Putin. You can talk about the ramifications of the war on that side.
And no. I will tell you why. Because we have an open economy. You know, open economy? Open economy goes to the international levels. So that is healthy for any nation in the world. So countries interact. You get one item from country A, you get another item from country B, and so on. And you trade international, and then you measure net exports. So what you exported, what you imported, that is what goes into your GDP calculations and inflation calculation. So because we are dependent on other nations, like for oil, we are dependent on these countries. So, and there is competition going on. So when attack happened, it kind of disrupted the supplies. It disrupted exports and it disrupted imports. So January was 5.1%, February was 5.7%, March was close to 7%, 6.7%, and then went up to 8.1% in June. So if I look at this data, but why did it go to 5.1% in the first place in January? Right? It was fine up to June of last year. In 2021, June, it was 3.1%. Everything was going fine. But then in September, from July actually, it started going up. And it went like this, like a rocket. And now
So,
the rocket is on autopilot.
yeah, I understand, but should it not come back down
It doesn't
soon
come back
enough?
down that way, that faster. War is still going on, right? Trade is still restricted. Pandemic still hovers over our heads. And people have to buy groceries at a very high price. Inflation for grocery items is way too much. We're touching close to 11%. It is unacceptable.
So here's the thing: like we're talking with the necessity for international trade. Now, Canada is such an abundantly resourceful country. The people that are running the country have not made it a self-sustainable economy. Now,
Yeah.
nobody can say that there's no resource here in Canada. There's enough oil here to supply the oil that is required locally. So, the backward mentality of thinking international trade is the only way and the better way is an absolute stupid move. For the sake of, like, the reason why I'm getting a little bit upset is because you've just explained one person. You've said there's one person that that is suffering a dilemma which has to be strategized. Now,
Yeah.
the government, right, has put them in that position. You can thank the government for not being well prepared.
Yeah.
Okay? At the end of the day, it's everyone has or entitled to their own opinion, but to be in a position that you're reliant on the services of another country or the supplies of another country when you have your own supply in the back door, it's absolute stupidity.
Well, we can say that, but you still have to understand that countries will always be dependent on each other. It's just like every country is a store. Just like you go to a shopping mall, you shop at Bay, you shop at Best Buy, you shop at this and that store. So the world is made up of all these stores. Every country has something to sell. And the presidents of these countries, or whosoever is head of state, they are the shoppers. So they shop for their families, which is us. Right? So they say,
They
okay,
need to stop.
Brazil is selling
need to
this
stop
thing for
shopping.
cheap. Let's buy it from there. Oh, Dubai is selling cheap oil, so let's go to Dubai for oil. My oil is expensive. I don't want to spend it right now. I will sell it to some other country. Okay, let's go there. My currency is cheaper, so let's buy the other currency. So these things keep going on, right? It's like if you look into that microeconomic point of view, you will see how this all works. We are so close to each other these days. People take flight, go visit a country, come back by the evening. This is what these leaders are doing. Oh, yes, no, you are not wrong, you are thinking right, but if we are put in their position, we will do exactly the same thing they are doing right now.
So what you're saying is it's okay to make, the way I look at it is they've got to take a more concise measure in order to benefit the people that live and reside in the country that they're trying to serve.
Yeah.
They're making absolutely stupid decisions based on the higher levels, there's obviously something going on which is uncontrollable on our side, but at the end of the day, what you just mentioned, the collateral damage is going to be felt for maybe a generation of people who made some unfortunate moves. And why is that fair?
Yeah. Well, that's the reason
Right?
more than 30% of young Canadians have decided to put off the idea to buy a house. They will come back when the market becomes reasonable. Like the rates, inflation rates are way too out of control. 2020 inflation rates were 0.7% and 2021 annual were 3.4. But now let's see where we go. I haven't seen inflation rate as high as this time. I'm looking at the tables from 1990 all the way to now. And the maximum that number strikes my eyes is like 1990, it went to 5% by December. Then coming up, it has been 0.1%, 2.2%, this and that. So government must have been pumping money into the economy to move the market. So when inflation goes really down, then people are not buying of their own free will. But now people are not allowed to make purchases because everything is expensive. Well, let's hope for the best. Is there anything from your Abbotsford housing market that you want to share?
Yeah, there's 45 new properties on the market yesterday. So
45.
There's 45. So there'll be plenty of choices for buyers to go in and sort of have a choice of different styles of homes. Some might be priced at a reasonable rate. Some people have overpriced them. It's just a matter of timing now. So, when you look at an acquisition and a purchase for quick release, those kind of things are not going to happen. I think we're going to find people who have the availability of finances or cash in order to take some opportunity and buy places which are going to be rented. Because if you can't buy, you're going to rent.
Yeah.
That's going to be probably the next year's worth of work where a lot of properties are going to be underpriced, and the people with the cash or the availability of financing can undertake them and move forward. I mean, I had a conversation with one of my clients, and he says, well, we should go in no subjects, cash offer.
The subject
right?
in BC means conditions.
Conditions, exactly.
Oh, okay. Why BC has so confusing terminology?
It is actually, it should be conditions. My apologies.
Okay. I heard it from someone else too, subjects. So I don't know why this comes in, or maybe this just kind of local language.
That's right. You guys are a little bit more sort of refined because definitely the population makes a difference. Your higher volumes are quite a bit more significant than here, right?
With the craziest people. So we'll take a quick break.
What's happening on that
run
side?
this ad for our sponsors. Thank you. We'll come back soon.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a reliable legal office that can handle your closing in the most effective manner? If yes, please get in touch with Rakesh Joshi at 416-213-8600. Joshi Law Office provides all the legal advices about real estate law, business law, immigration laws, notarization and affidavits, wills and trust. Give them a call today, 416-213-8600. Are you looking for reliable immigration services? If yes, contact Sukhi Paul at 647-296-4575 or office phone number 905-790-8877. They are located at 219-220 at 7956 Torban Road. It's right at the intersection of Torban Road and Steeles Avenue West. Contact them for all kind of visa services. Finding an honest and diligent insurance and investment advisor is a rarity these days. If you are looking for great advice, contact Mr. Bhupendra Mane, who is the regional director of Cosmos Financial Center. They are located at Union number 830 Top Flight Drive, Mississauga. The phone number to call is 647-448-6229. Give them a call today. Is your business suffering from performance? If yes, it is the right time to call Ravinder Duggi at 416-807-7986. She will find out the weak points and the points where the performance issues are paramount and help you fix those issues. Give her a call today. Do not be late. Are you looking to buy or sell your home or any commercial real estate? If yes, call me today at 647-333-2273 or 647-328-3279. I provide services in real estate and mortgages. I am mortgage broker with Akal Mortgages Inc., where when we say yes, we stand behind our promise. Reach out to me today. Do you want to shop right without burning your pockets? If yes, please visit Monisha Discount Warehouse at 377 Burnhamthorpe Road, East Mississauga, Ontario. They are the best. They have all kind of Indian, Pakistani and other local stuff that you can buy at literally throwaway prices. Contact them at 905-361-0773. Monisha Discount Warehouse. D.P. Jain is a well-known name in the fields of accounting. You can contact him today at his cell number 416-305-0080 or his office number 905-790-9327. Once you start working with him, you will never want to leave him. He is 5-star professional. Call him today. D.P. Jain Professional Corporation. PC24 RE-TV is heard over so many different channels. If you want to promote your business for free, call me at 647-333-2273. You can also send your artwork to contact@paulcheema.com. We are here to be partners in your business success. 647-333-2273. Thank you very much. We are back with our remaining segment of PC24 RE-TV. Today we are in conversation with our guest from Abbotsford, BC, Mr. Amrit Sura. It's a lively discussion on so many topics that concern home buyers and home sellers and consumers of real estate. If you're watching this program on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. We promise to deliver the best content. Amrit. Oh, Amrit is absent.
Hello.
We got him back.
Sorry about that.
We just found you missing in action, man.
Okay, so here's something I was thinking. I don't know if you had another question, but way back when I came back from the Middle East, I was quite heavy set. I was probably 265 pounds, and
Really?
so I got into boot camp, something called like a fitness thing called boot camp.
Okay.
So boot camp basically puts in a program in order for you to get back into a regular routine, right?
Okay.
And an exercise program. So, and you end up shedding a lot of fat and getting into shape. So here's something which really is required. There's an industry that's missing for the greater population. I mean, it's something not taught in schools, right? So there should be a financial boot camp, right?
Well, yeah, you're right.
In times of a crisis like this, right? We could say whatever we like and kind of candy coat it as much as possible. The government's going to give you the lip service that's required. But what's missing is the real education at the end of the day. It's not anything that we do, right? It's not about the transaction. It's about how the person is going to handle themselves over the next 25 years, period. Right? So before getting to the stage, all right, you get a job. Well, okay, you've got a job now. Let's put you in a cycle. Okay? We don't want that constant misery of interest that's going to, burden you to debt. It's an essential service that can be somehow, it could be, it should be forced into schools. Financial education, right? It's a vital component of any existence at the end of the day. So there needs to be some kind of intervention on that kind of level. I mean, I'm thinking how
I think that's the right thinking. That's a good idea.
How do you educate?
We can start it. We can start this movement. We can create.
How do we educate the masses, right?
We can educate the masses. Why not? And do you know that a petition has been running around with the topic "Say No to the Mortgage Rate Increase in Canada"? About 933 people have signed. So it says if it reaches 1,000, it will be featured in the recommendation section. The website is change.org, and some guy called Parvez Kashani started his petition, "Say No to Mortgage Rate Hikes in Canada." This is getting worse, right? It seems like a civil war happening. But hey, do you love teddy bears?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know the origin of teddy bear, where it all started?
I have a brief idea, but
is it tied to the president, the past president Theodore Roosevelt? Was he called Teddy?
Yeah, he was called Teddy.
So I think that this started from there. So it is sad that he went on hunting with his caravan, and he apparently shot a bear, couldn't find that, went back, and I think some people stayed back and they found the bear. So they tied the bear to a tree and asked the president to come and shoot it. So when president saw it in misery, he refused to shoot it. He said, no, he will not shoot it, but he made sure his agony is ended and he's killed in a less painful manner. So that became a topic of discussion, and many people created cartoons. And then they asked his permission to name it as Teddy Bear. So it became Teddy Bear, and today is a national Bring Your Teddy Bear to School Day. So I'm not sure if it is for America only, because I haven't heard it in Canada. So I guess it is only in US. So National Bring Your Teddy Bear to School Day today. This started in 1902, and this is where we are. 60 years were celebrated in 1963. So what to do on this day? Bring a teddy bear to your workplace. You can take one to your office. You can host a sleepover with your friends, because teddy bear represents a close friend, your nighttime pal. Or you can build a teddy bear. Some activities you can do today.
Build a bear, yeah. They have
It
a
will be fun.
franchise, right?
Build-A-Bear.
There's actually yeah. Have you heard of that franchise, Build-A-Bear?
Yes, I think I have. I have. So it is celebrated on the week of Valentine's. February 10 is celebrated as Teddy Day as well. Crazy
Wow.
word, right? So, well, this petition is in force. People are trying to bring this to the government's notice. Government already knows it. And the proof
But
point
the
of
main
RBC, they say we projected a moderate recession for Canadians' economy in 2023. We now believe this downturn will arrive as early as the first quarter of the next year. Higher prices and interest rates will shave $3,000 off average households' purchasing power, weighing on goods purchases. The jobless rate will near 7% while remaining less severe than in previous downturns. As debt service cost increase and purchasing power declines, lower income Canadians, many already adjusting to the loss of pandemic support, they will be hit very hard. The pain of the upcoming recession won't be distributed equally among Canadian businesses and households. The manufacturing sector will likely be among the first to pull back, while some high contact service sectors such as travel and hospitality could prove more resilient than a normal historic recession. So this is coming soon, guys. We are going to see this storm. The severe storm, worse than cyclone, the worst cyclone. It's going to damage people from inside out. It is going to affect your mental health rest too. So stay strong, Canada. We can do it. That's all I wanted to say.
So how best for the people to prepare themselves? I mean, at the end of the day, we want to give them some kind of recommendation on what kind of preparation should there be.
Well, I think this is time to focus on buying only those items that are pretty essential. This is you have to cut down impulsive purchases. You may, because most of the things are from home now, you have to cut down on travel. I don't know what else can you suggest. So don't inflate your income to qualify for a mortgage, because lying can escape unnoticed, but you are the one who will suffer. And there are many families who may have submitted false documentation in order to secure higher mortgages that they would never qualify otherwise. Those people will be hit very hard, very, very hard when the renewal comes in, because banks are very cautious. The overnight lending rate affects all centralized banks. So what happens, Amrit? Bank of Canada acts as a place to hold centralized banks' money. So when banks deposit money there, they earn interest. It is 0.5% less than their policy rate. But when bank loses money, and let's say you go to the bank and want them to pay you $50,000, but bank doesn't have $50,000, bank takes money from Bank of Canada. And Bank of Canada applies the policy rate on the money they lend. So Bank of Canada becomes a lender for centralized banks and also a depositor for a holder of their funds. So the banks act like individual with this Bank of Canada. This is how it goes. So this is going to be tough inning for most of us, but it is required to be very vigilant about how you spend your dollar. Don't kill yourself by overworking. It's not going to help. I hope CRA comes with some lesser rates or gives some incentives to people. So gives them some rebate on taxes so they can, offset their grocery expenses because things are going out of hand. So it's time for us to take leave now. Before we leave, as always, we greet happy things in the beginning, but before we end the broadcast, we pay sympathies to those people who have lost their beloved ones on this day. We share your grief. We shall pray for peace to the departed soul, and may God grant you strength to overcome the biggest shock of your life. Keep moving on. That's what God wants us to do. From birth to death, we always keep moving on. Anything you have to say, Amrit?
Yeah, I think just stay, as Paul said, stay steadfast and be vigilant on your day-to-day outgoings, right? At the end of the day, we want to make sure that you're still on the journey with us on for the coming years.
Yes, and this video will soon play on TikTok. I got to the point where I can stream my video feed on TikTok. So right after this, we'll play it there. I try to integrate TikTok, but they have very rigid, policies. They don't give us the RTMPs, but they have a studio that I can utilize.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Monday to Saturday. We take a day off on Sunday. Good day.